Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the one and only Extra Attacker podcast. I'm your co-host, Kynan Sorokin, and my other co-host today is none other than Jeff Hale. Oh shoot! Why can I hear myself? Oh, I don't like this. What is? Oh, there we go. I had it up. Okay. I had one of my many browsers open, for some reason had the volume on. And I'm like, nope, that's not right. That's not what we want. But fix that, so now we're good. Jeff, how you doing today?
Us, and apparently now Kynan's browser was fighting us, so apologies for starting a few minutes late. We are having a morning. How am I? I'm okay. I'm okay. It has been a week.
It has been a week. It has been one of the weeks of all time, both in personal life and in hockey.
Yes.
There's some things that happened this week, but before we get into that, I'd like to bring up our sponsor. Thank you. And now, on to the show.
I got really excited for a second there. I was like, dude, who do you know?
I don't, and I'm not eager yet for anything like that because I want to keep this as pure to hockey as possible.
Oh yeah.
And so speaking of weeks, let's just jump straight into the week of hockey. And this was one of the weeks of all time of hockey.
It certainly was. I cannot believe, with everything that I know about hockey, with the predictions that we made episode 1, that I'm even saying this. And I know it's early. Let's not overreact. Let's overreact a little bit.
I mean, I'm all for overreactions. That's what all the best podcasts do. So, I mean, why the heck not?
Yeah.
Why not just freak out?
Tampa Bay, Winnipeg, and Calgary are all on pace for an undefeated season.
That's, if I had to pick 3 teams to be undefeated at the end of the season, or even at this point of the season, Calgary was not on the top of my list.
No.
At all.
No.
They have backup goalies as their goalies. They have 2 good defensemen, and Huberdeau is their best forward, who for the last 2 seasons has been had a worse contract than Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
And I love Nurse.
Huberdeau, at least fantasy wise though. Huberdeau's been picking it up real nice. I got him, I think, last week. He's been looking great.
Yeah, the man's been on fire. I remember 2 years ago, I had a buddy who picked Huberdeau in the first round of fantasy.
Oh.
Because that was his first year coming from Florida to Calgary, and the season before that, he'd had an over 100-point season. And then now he's like, you maybe pick him in the last round as a joke.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, this season he's on top. If we want to take a quick look at the stats, Huberdeau, in terms of points, is doing so good. So in 4 games, he has 3 goals and 3 assists. So he's over a point a game right now, which
love that for him.
Is better than people like, say, Leon Draisaitl. Or
Leon who?
Leon who? Not the highest paid player in the game.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. And also, I mean, Winnipeg's been on fire too.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember I was saying at the beginning of the season, I mean, they're a very solid team. They're a good team. They were a playoff team last year. I just see them regressing a little bit. They're making me eat my words early. I mean, there's still time. We'll see what happens, but they're making me eat those words.
Do you know how many goals against they have so far to start the season? Do you know?
Winnipeg?
Yeah.
Do you have next to that who they've played?
I most certainly do.
Okay.
I most certainly do. So, they've played 4 games. Can you guess how many goals against they have.
Yeah, who are the 4 teams they played?
So they've played Edmonton, Chicago, Minnesota, and San Jose.
Edmonton, Chicago, Minnesota, San Jose. Well, I know they shut out Edmonton, so there's 0 there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good start.
It's a very good start.
I'm gonna guess 2.
A bit more. They haven't had any more shutouts, but in
Okay.
4 games they have 5 goals against. So just 1.25 goals a game. But guess who's scored the most against them? When you hear Chicago, Minnesota, San Jose, and Edmonton, guess who scored the most goals against them?
You would think right out of those. I mean, again, take Edmonton out. We know they got shut out. Out of the remaining 3, you would probably instantly think Minnesota. If I remember correctly, it was San Jose.
San Jose has scored 3 goals.
Yep.
They've let in more goals to San Jose than the other 3 teams that they've played combined. It's wild. And I mean, Tampa Bay is in the same boat. They've only let in 5 goals, but in 3 games.
Yeah.
So slightly less impressive.
So San Jose has dominated against Winnipeg. But how many wins does San Jose have?
Let me do a quick count here. About as many as they did last year at this point in the season. Yeah. 0.
That's right.
Yeah.
My prediction's still going strong for that.
Yeah.
You take this.
Yeah, there's only 2. There was 3 winless teams up until yesterday. We had San Jose, of course. Colorado finally got their first win last
Finally
night.
did it.
And Mikko Rantanen liked your comment.
I did see that.
I don't know if it's the real Mikko Rantanen, but his profile's locked. You can't look at it.
I don't know what it is, but something tells me that that's not the real account. Just shot in the dark. I don't.
But imagine if it was. Imagine if the real Mikko Rantanen liked your comment.
Right.
I mean, as a professional athlete, it's probably very advised against looking on the socials. Ever.
Yeah. Also, it's hard for me to believe that as a professional athlete, he'd only have 59 friends on Facebook.
See, that doesn't surprise me because, especially with the lock profile, you're there just for your closest friends and family to see their stuff, and so you want to keep it tight. So that doesn't shock me.
Yeah.
But then I also think you're not on there a lot, so why would you be liking random podcast comments?
I mean, that's fair.
On your team's social media.
To be fair about that, though, after a win, all rules go out the window. It's time to celebrate at that point. After you've gone 0-3, 0-4, whatever it was.
0-4.
0-4.
Yeah.
But if there's any sport whose athletes are going to do that and, like, let's go on the internet and troll for comments and, like, try to support people running podcasts, it's going to be hockey players. I mean, hockey players are just, there's something about it. They're some of the nastiest people, but some of the most pure-hearted people at the same time. It's a really weird dichotomy. You'd never see a top-name baseball player do that or a football player do that. Well, football, they'll threaten each other on Instagram. Did I say that out loud? But, I mean, hockey players, I'm just going to put this out there. I mean, there's like a minuscule chance that this is legit, but Mikko Rantanen, if that was actually you liking that comment, let us know. And just understand, I have drafted you every year I've played fantasy hockey. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Putting that out there. True statement.
I typically don't get a crack at Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah. So, also, I do need to get in touch. Like, all seriousness, or all jokes aside, if it is the real Mikko Rantanen, we're trying to get a hold of the team. Somebody I know is dying of cancer and wants to meet the team before he dies. So there's your serious note for the day. Get a hold of me.
There's our serious note for the day. As usual, we don't make it an official segment, but it typically comes up. So hope all the best for that individual.
Yeah.
And hey, if they can meet the team, that'd be phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. So that goes for everybody else too. If somebody somehow has connections to the team, to management, and something like that, one of my best friend's dad is in the hospital. Just got admitted last week for the 5th time with cancer, and we're thinking this might be the last time. So We're trying to find a way to get him up to the game. He's in New Mexico. That's where they live. We're trying to get him up to Colorado for a game. If he can meet the team, awesome. Just trying to do one last thing for the family at this point. So if anybody happens to have connections out there, let me know. I mean, it's a shot in the dark. I understand that, but let us know.
Yeah, thank you. And on trying to not keep it on sad news, but the other team that is winless, that currently remains winless, is the Nashville Predators. You remember all the hype in the offseason for these guys?
You remember my hype on episode 1 for these guys?
Remember when everyone thought, "Oh, Nashville's turning this is Nashville's year," and now they're 0-4 to start the season. They have a -10 goal differential. They've scored 8 goals, led in 18, and I don't blame Saros for that at all. I watched the Edmonton Nashville game, of course, and Saros was having a night. He was just flip-flopping everywhere, making beautiful saves left and right.
Yeah.
But the big issue here is the new Nashville players, that too many of their top tier players on their team that they acquired, like Stamkos and Marchessault, have never played with each other or in the Nashville organization.
Exactly right.
And they're not used to each other.
Yeah, if I'm a Preds fan, I'm not pulling the plug yet. I'm not panicking. It doesn't look good with an 0-4 start, of course. But
no.
Again, these guys just got to get used to each other a little bit. Look at Edmonton last year. I hate to say it, as an Oilers fan with a co-host who's an Oilers fan, I hate to have to use that. That is the new benchmark, though. Anytime your team has a bad start, remember Edmonton. They made it within one game of the finals.
We are now
one game of the cup, rather. Yeah, remember the Alamo.
We are now the Alamo.
But no, I mean, with how bad they started last year, there's time to turn it around. Mm-hmm. Just don't fire Stamkos. Fire your coach. Problem solved.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, is fire the coach. It's worked for Edmonton.
Yeah.
Obviously don't do that.
No.
Onto some.
Don't panic.
No. Now is not the time to panic. You'll figure it out. You still have a good team. You still have one of the best defensemen in the league. You still have one of the best goalies in the league, and you've got a great lineup of forwards. They'll figure it out. They're professionals. They'll get there.
I believe in Juicy
Saros.
Juicy. Which, by the way, he has one of, as far as NHL players doing ad reads, he's got one of the best commercials out there for Mass Mutual Bank. I don't know if
I've ever seen a commercial of his.
It's so good. I gotta look this up and send it to you. So good.
My camera is being so weird. Apologies to everyone who keeps seeing any kind of red flashes with my camera.
What's up with that?
I don't know. I'm gonna try. I'm turning off my white balance auto balancer because I think that's what's doing it. Wow, I look washed out. There's sometimes especially when you're doing a live show, guys, sometimes the technology just goes haywire and you got to figure out how to adapt to it on the fly. And we're going to try. So obviously let us know in the comments if you got a seizure from my flickering, that, I will pay for your medical expenses. I will not, but I will. I'll find someone to do it at least.
There you go. There you go. I was going to say, Don't say that. I was gonna say don't say that. You're writing checks your wallet can't cash here.
Yeah, well, I'll just charge them the fee if my check bounces. That's on them.
Hey.
On to some better news though. We have another goalie signing, Jeff, and it feels like at this point it's just a photocopy of a photocopy.
Yeah. Stop me if you've heard this before, but the Otter 8x825.
Jake Ottinger of the Dallas Stars
gets the Jeremy Swayman contract. I mean, at this point, I think this is becoming it's becoming a standard at this point. There's no problem with that. Shesterkin better get over himself and take that before he can't take anything. He's still holding out. He rejected the largest contract in NHL history for a goalie. because he wants more. I mean, this market is not benefiting that. I'm not. Before people get upset, I'm not saying he's not worth it. I'm not making any comment on that. I'm just saying, look at the market right now, and every big name that signs lower, that's hurting his value a little bit. And so at some point, you've just got to go and take what you can get before the market drops out way too hard.
True. I mean, I feel like the worst Shesterkin does is that contract that he rejected, because unless
Sure. Yeah.
unless there's some super bad blood or anything, he can always go back and say, you know what, okay, fine, I'll do the deal. For those who don't know, Igor Shesterkin, the goalie for the New York Rangers, was offered an 8-year deal at $11 million per year, so an $88 million contract, which would be the highest a goalie's ever been paid, and would be tied for the highest paid contract on the Rangers. He wants a little bit more. He wants to be the highest paid player on the Rangers because he feels like he's the best player. I mean, logic-wise, that makes sense.
Sure.
But
sure. And I don't want to go too deep, because I think we discussed it when we were talking about Swayman. He very well may be the best player on the team. I again, I'm not making a comment on it, but he very well, just for argument's sake, he's the best player in the league, and he deserves $50 million. Sometimes you have to understand, just because you deserve it doesn't mean it's realistic, doesn't mean it's what you're going to get.
True.
I definitely deserve a lot more than I'm getting out of my day job. Doesn't mean that I have it. There's other factors that come into play. And so at some point, he's got to figure it out, and he's going to have to be a little bit realistic, or the team's going to cripple themselves and not be able to sign anybody else. I mean, it's going to be one of the two. And I hope if he gets that gigantic contract, I really hope he starts whining that they don't have good defensive players.
yeah. Trouba and Adam Fox they're just trash defensemen. You know, they're just.
Yeah, we need to get more defensive players in here. How come management won't sign anybody else to help them out? They signed you, homeboy.
Yeah, if you have a great goal, if you have the best goalie in the world, why do you need defense, right?
True statement.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh boy.
In additional goalie news, though, guys, we have the 18th goalie goal in NHL history. We made a prediction that there would be a goalie goal this year.
We weren't right, though.
We were right that there would be a goal. We weren't right on who it would be. And if,
I'm blown away that it was this soon, too.
Right? It was
this was real early.
It was in the second week. We're not even a tenth of the way through the season yet.
No.
And I'm trying to see if I can find what our specific predictions were on it.
Mine was UPL.
Right. And I said Skinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Philip Gustafsson of the Minnesota Wild. Philippe Gustafsson. Yeah,
if anybody hasn't seen it, go watch it too.
Yeah. Well,
goals are awesome.
Fleury in the break apparently told him to go for it too.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, I just wish it would have been Fleury. If it's going to be Minnesota, Fleury is just. I've said it before, but he is. He needs to have some kind of a job and stay with the league, stay with teams. Like, we need him once he retires.
Oh, he will. There's no way. If they he's going to be the next Subban and Biz. Bissonette or whatever, however the dude's actual name is pronounced. I don't know. I just know him as Biz. Paul Biz.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a sweet goal. It was a solid goal too.
Oh yeah.
And I
wasn't
love it. Yeah, no. Well, I love it when goalies commit to it.
Yeah.
When you just see them, they're like, I have a chance. Here we go. And they look all excited. They drop the puck and they're like, and then.
Oh yeah.
But then his reaction after seemed rather subdued, if I'm being honest. He just was like, hooray.
Yeah. that was him consciously saying, I'm freaking out a little bit too much. Let's try to pretend we've been here before.
Yeah. Imagine a goalie being like, "Yeah, I do this all the time."
Yeah.
But his teammates freaked out for him. It was great.
And that raises the question too: how many active players have one? there can't be any more than like four or
Oh,
five.
oh, of active players that have one?
Yeah.
No, well, there's Swayman.
Yeah. Was it Sway or Oli? I think it was Oli, wasn't it?
Oh, so no, yeah, sorry, Allmark.
Yeah.
But I was just like Boston goalie.
Yeah. So I know
Uh,
Olmark, obviously
let's
Gustafsson.
let's see.
Didn't Saros get one?
I don't
I want to say a
remember. Let me
Nashville
don't think so.
player in the last
I'm
2
gonna
years.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna pull it up. I'm pulling it up for us. I just have to
Yeah.
scroll through the NHL's exorbitant amount of posts. Okay, so the goalies that have done it: Billy Smith, Ron Hextall, Chris Osgood, Martin Brodeur, Damian Rhodes, Jose Theodore, Evgeny Debakov, Mika Nornin, whoever the heck that is, Chris Mason, Cam Ward, Mike Smith, Pekka Rinne. Oh, Tristan Jarry. Right, there was 2 last year.
Jarry,
Allmark
that's
and
who it
Jarry. Yep.
That's what I was thinking.
So there's now 3 active goalies that have one.
Yep. 3. Do we think any of them can get a second one?
For sure. I mean, you've done it once, you can do it again, right? There's a few goalies that have done it twice. Ron Hextall has, Martin Brodeur has, and that actually might be it.
That might be it. But
you want to know the year gap between Brodeur's first and second goal though?
14.
You're not far off, actually.
Oh, let's go.
It's 16. So
Jeez.
1997 was the first one, and then 2013 was the second one. So a 16-year gap.
And it's weird to me. Just Brodeur is like, he's one of those big names. He's a legend. Like, you know hockey, you know who he is. It still blows me away. It's weird to me because I feel like he played further back. It's weird that he played that recently in my mind.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like we've both been old enough to have him in an NHL video game that we've played, but at the same time it's been so long where it's either like we're old or he just played for forever. And I'm going to go with that he played for forever cuz
I'm going to go with both of those.
Oh, maybe you are. Maybe you're old. I'm not old.
Thanks. You still have youth in your face. Yep. I have wrinkles and gray hairs.
Yeah. Well, the camera doesn't pick it up. I technically have some gray hairs, but I blame stress. I blame school.
Yeah, I found one over there the other day.
And yank it out. All right. And then our last thing for this week that I have down for is the absurdity that is the current power play percentage rankings. So if we and specifically two specific teams that I want to point out, and I'm going to see if I can find the actual stats here before we get into that. So Chicago Blackhawks, they have a power play percentage of 31%, which is on par with what the Oilers set as the record 2 years ago.
The Chicago Bedards, you mean?
So, the Chicago Bedards. And that's not even the best in the league currently. You've got Winnipeg at 50%, Colorado 41%, Ottawa at 37%, and New York Rangers at 35%. Edmonton has a power play of 7.7%.
Ooh.
And Dallas,
better than Buffalo and Anaheim.
Yeah, but we expect them to suck. But Edmonton and Dallas, 7.7 and 5.9 respectively. Who are these teams?
Winnipeg with a 50% power play percentage. I'm glad you brought this up because I hadn't looked at these numbers yet. I mean, again, take everything that we're saying with a grain of salt. It's still early in the season.
Yeah, every team's played 4 to 5 games. Right? This is where we get to just have fun and blow things out of proportion.
Yeah. We have to redeem for any of you Dallas fans. Yeah, you may be at a 5.9% power play. Look at their penalty kill, though. They lead the league. You're not good at scoring, but you're good at stopping.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is that weird part, too, with Utah. Obviously, I'm familiar with them. watching all their games and paying attention to that. I feel like our PK is one of our strongest, and as good as we've done, we're only at 83% and 12th place in the league. So it's still early enough. You give up one power play goal, it'll blow those numbers up.
Yep.
But we've also given out about 12 billion penalties.
Yeah, you have.
So there's that.
that does not help.
No,
That
it's been rough.
doesn't help you. No. Okay. Well, that's this week in the NHL.
Yes.
And it's
Wait a minute.
It's been a good week.
There's one thing I think we forgot, and it might have been last week, but I think it was this week.
It might be in a future section. Is it in our record section?
Johnny Gaudreau.
Oh yes, the Johnny Gaudreau tribute this week. I forgot about that. That was so cool.
I didn't forget about it, but for some reason I thought it was last week, but I think it was early this week.
No, it was this week.
It was this week. For anybody who doesn't know, everybody went out for the morning skate on both teams wearing Gaudreau 13 jerseys.
Well, I think it was also for the pregame warm up too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Not morning skate. My fault.
Well, they also might have done it for the morning skate. Who knows?
Yeah. Same diff. But Columbus started the game with only 4 skaters on the ice. They left his position open. Both teams decided on the opening faceoff, we're going to stand there and we're going to let 13 seconds run off the clock. I wasn't a Gaudreau fan. I'm not a Columbus fan by any means, but that brought me to tears. I welled up a little bit on that one. It was a beautiful tribute. And for some reason, it really hit me when the cameras are going around. Obviously, you expect the players to be into it, but the referees stopped what they were doing, and they are all into it. They're clapping along too. And that's something that, I mean, I could be wrong. I feel like we don't see that in other sports. When players want to, I'm going to bend the rules or I'm going to do something abnormal to pay tribute to somebody, the referees are still there. They still have a game to officiate. They're still paying attention. They're still enforcing the rules. The fact that we blew the play dead after 13 seconds for no good reason, that was awesome. Very well done by the officiating crew. Very well done by the league to allow these kinds of things to happen and giving enough discretion that they can do that. And as much as I hate to say it, props to Florida for being willing to participate in that. It was an awesome moment.
Yeah, it was. I got chills. It was so cool to see at the Columbus home opener. And it's a good thing that his number was 13 and not like 62 or something. I don't think they could have gotten away with running 62 seconds off the clock. They would have to find something different. But yeah, I've never seen anything like that in sports. In hockey, nothing like that. I mean, we don't typically have situations like this where that happens. Yeah. But it was really special, and I'm really glad that they took the time to kind of put in that thought to make something like that happen. Yeah.
I'm getting chills just talking about it now.
Yeah.
I'm becoming a sap in my old age.
Well, it shows that you have a heart. It shows that you care.
Yeah.
And that's a good sign. That's a good sign.
I'm glad something shows it.
Yeah. Well, you gotta hope. You gotta hope, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, let's kind of a different sort of area of this week in hockey. Let's move to the injury report. And this first one, I'm gonna leave to you because it's a doozy.
It is a doozy. Some might say it's a dersey.
Oh,
see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
You set me up for that and didn't even mean to. That was cool.
That's when I just knew. I had a feeling.
Yeah. So, I'm going to let you see if you can get that video up. I wanted to show the clip of the hit that he took.
Do you have you linked it to me or something?
Yeah. Okay. I sent it to you in Discord right before the Juicy Sorrows commercial.
Okay.
From KSL.
Yeah. And actually, I just realized at the start of the show when I was freaking out over being able to hear myself, I don't have that audio going through to the stream, so no one could hear that. So everyone was confused. Okay.
No, it
So
was just you.
yeah, it's just me. Okay. Let's see if I can quickly do this.
Yeah.
If not, we'll just do. Okay. We're going to what? How do I go into theater mode? Theater mode. Boom.
No goals.
And no goals. Wait, no.
You can do it.
There we go. And then we make it smaller.
We got to bring up the right video.
Yeah. So is this?
That's the wrong one. That's the commercial we were talking about earlier.
Oh, that was the commercial. Okay, whoops.
What are your goals for retirement? No goals.
No goals. Well, see this, and this is again when we try and do this live.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
It gives that air of authenticity though. I like
Yeah.
it when we screw up a little bit. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Things you'll never hear big productions say. I like it when we screw up a little bit live.
Yeah. Now I'm moving everything. So this. Okay. Here we go. Now I've got the right one. There we go.
There you go.
Now.
All right, let's see this here.
Okay. So now this is going to be the injury to Sean Dursey.
Watch this hit. That was it. Did you miss it? Let's see it again.
Yeah. So what?
4
where
to
is he
5
hurt?
months.
What is hurt?
Upper body.
Oh, well, that's
That's
hockey,
all they're
baby.
telling us.
Yeah, well, that's all they ever will. But what did it? I guess the butt of the player that hit him kind of squished into his stomach. So did it like pop a kidney or something, or what? What in the world?
Right? I saw that live, and then he skated off the ice. I said, "You got to be kidding me! There's no way." And then they said he's not coming back to the game. I said, "How?
That's
He didn't even get a
wild.
hit." 4 to 5 months.
What
That is
could
a
even keep you
massive blow to our defensive core, and that was very early
Yeah.
in the game.
I
I don't understand the human body. I don't understand hockey. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense.
But 4 to 5 months, I mean, that's a majority of the season. So
Yeah.
I don't.
What?
Yeah, I'm speechless. I have nothing
I'm
to say
so-
on that.
I'm so
And I'm upset.
confused.
I was excited for him to have a breakout year.
Yeah, well, he's a great defenseman.
4 to 5 months.
From
He
what I
is.
know.
Yeah.
Shoot.
And our defense is, I mean, that was 2 games ago, and our defense has shown that we're missing him. So I don't know.
Hey,
4 to 5
just-
months for that.
Well, if you can get him to stay out maybe an extra month, and you guys are looking good for playoffs, maybe
The
we
Utah
pull a
LTIRs.
Tampa Bay Vegas,
Let's do it.
Tampa
Let's
Bay
do it.
Vegas moment, maybe.
I mean, at this point, everybody hates us enough. I have no problem adding to that.
No one hates you. Maybe Calgary hates you for drafting Tej Aginla, but
Yeah, Calgary hates us for Iginla. Arizona hates us because Arizona's bitter. And
True.
everybody in the league likes to continually mock us and talk about how bad our ownership are and we should not have a team because Quebec should have a team and we don't even have a real state. It's just, shut up. You're all upset. Shut up. You notice how the only fan base not complaining about the seat situation in Utah is Utah fans? Get over yourselves. Nobody cares. Yeah, I
Yeah.
said it.
hey, at least Arizona can say that they haven't lost a game this year.
It's true. It's true. Arizona is undefeated. Hockey belongs in the desert.
Does it though?
Other than that, I don't think we had any really huge injury reports. I mean, Dumba with
No.
Dallas, he's considered week to week with a lower body injury. Eric Goodbranson placed on IR, but we don't know any of the details about that. They just said they put him on IR. Other than that, what do we got? Yeah, Thursday games. Mike Matheson, Darcy Kemper, Nick Liddy,
Nick
Victor
Leddy.
Olofsson, Linus
Olaf.
Olmark, and
Now,
Jeff
was he-
Petrie.
Was Allmark out for an injury or illness, or was he just the backup for that night? Did you
No,
see?
according to NHL, they all missed the game Thursday.
Oh, okay. And
So
I mean, you have neglected to put on here Matthew Tkachuk has missed the last week of games for an illness. He must be really sick because he's still not expected to be back till I think at least tomorrow. And so
is
he'll have missed at least a week and a half. I know you don't care.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, as much as I want to claim that that was on purpose, I thought he was back already, so
Well,
I did miss that.
my fantasy would like him to be back.
Keep playing him while he's injured. That's fine.
Well, I mean, it's not like I'm playing him in place of anyone else. It's
That's what I'm saying. Please do. I need the help. Speaking of, that's the end of our injury. Before we move on to the next section, I just want to pull up fantasy this week because Kynan and I are against each other.
Yeah.
And at one point, I was down, what, 30, 40 points, something like that?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Did you check the score? I checked late last night.
Oh, it's like a 4-point difference right now. Something crazy.
Can you say 93 to 99?
Well, the math guy in me is really satisfied with these numbers. I'm at 99.3. You're at 93.9. Both of us have 2 9s and a 3. It's beautiful. It's so symmetrical, and I love it. But yeah, I mean, heck, that's what I do right now. So far, this fantasy is I get a really big lead at the early part of the week, and then I just allow my opponent to inch closer and closer, but then I still win. I really win thinking you have a chance, because last week I won by 0.4 points.
Ooh, that's right. You did send me that, yeah.
That is a blocked shot different. Like,
yeah.
My opponent has one more block shot, gives them 0.5 points, they win. I like the drama.
Well, and that reminds me too, last year I was kind of the same way. You know, I'd be up, I'd have 2 50-point games Monday through Wednesday, and then I'd lose 50 points a game from the goalies. So I know how that feels.
Yep.
I do know how that feels.
Yep. Yeah. But some players that are happy with their own real life fantasy hockey. It's
Talk to me about some records.
So yeah, this section, there was a lot of records that were set this week, and I want to we'll start with the two biggest ones because I think they're super cool. So Crosby and Malkin, two of the most iconic players in the game, and the original dynamic duo of my childhood. You hear about things like Gretzky, Messier, Lemieux, like all those people, but the first, like true superstar pair on the same team that I ever knew was Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And this week, Evgeny Malkin reached 500 goals and Sidney Crosby reached 1,600 career points in the same game, and I'm pretty sure on the same goal.
I think it was, yep.
I could do a little digging to find out exactly. I tried doing it at first, but nothing was seeming conclusive. So I said, all right, you know what? I'll take a peek later. But yeah, it was because Crosby got up to 1,602 points on the game versus Buffalo. So that means that whatever his first point was. Okay, no. So Crosby reached 1,600 points on the first goal of the game, which Malkin also assisted on. What it was when Crosby scored 500 goals, Evgeny Malkin was the only assist on it. And this time...
That's what it was.
And then when Malkin scored his 500th goal, Crosby was the only assist on it. So they each,
what it was.
On their own, set up each other for their respective 500th career goals. So cool. Yep. I think it's only like...
Poetry.
12 or... not many players in the NHL have reached 500 goals in their career.
Yeah. But, I mean, not only just hitting the 500, which is a big enough milestone, but the way they did it, real life is poetry. I mean, you can't get any better than that for those two to be playing with each other as long as they have. Like you said, I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, but not by much. And I remember when I was younger, kind of getting into my preteen years, it was Pittsburgh and Detroit were kind of the two teams running the table. Chicago was in there a little bit too, but Malkin and Crosby together, they've put together a lot over the years, and to be able to set each other up like that, that's just awesome.
Mm-hmm. So I have the number here. Yeah, 48 players in NHL history have scored 500 or more career goals.
Yep.
And that's just wild, man. And Crosby he is the 14th or 16th person to ever get to 1,600 points or more in the NHL.
Yep.
And I think that's 10th player. He's the 10th player in history to do so. I did write it down. I was about to look it up, but yeah, he's only the 10th player. So we finally have double-digit players at 1,600 points or more. And he is now only 120 points behind Mario Lemieux, argued to be the greatest Pittsburgh Penguin to ever play the game. He was kind of up there with Jagr and Gretzky in his day in terms of skill level, but Crosby, with what he'll get this season if he plays one more, he'll pass Lemieux.
Yep, that was going to be my next question. How long does he play, and how far up that list does he get? You're claiming a pass of Lemieux? I can't really disagree with you.
Dude, Crosby's in such good shape, and he's not slowing down.
It's weird. I mean, you could convince me dude's going to be playing longer than Jagr did if he just keeps this up.
Seriously, though.
I shouldn't even say did. Isn't he still playing in Russia or something stupid like that? Like
I think he just retired. I think he just retired.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
That dude just did not stop.
Yeah. What's wild about Crosby, too, is every season he's played, he's been at over a point per game player.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so it's consistency. He didn't just have the one or two huge years.
No. And this is his 20th season.
Yeah.
So if he can do that, he'll have played 20 seasons. And if he can play one more, he'll set... I think he's already... If he gets it this year, he's already set the record. I'd have to check Gretzky's stats. I think he might have already set the record. Or if he does it this year, he might set the record. For sure, if he plays next year, he'll set the record for point per game seasons in a row.
Yeah.
Because Gretzky only played 20 seasons.
Yeah.
So but yeah, he's in such good shape. He's 37 years old, but he's one of the most consistent players in the league. I absolutely love it.
Yep. Yeah, it's been amazing to watch.
Yeah. Okay. I'll save the one that's right under that on our notes for the last. But why don't you throw out that next one? That one's pretty straightforward here.
Make the Utah fan throw out that one. Jake Allen, first goalie in NHL history to have a win against 33 different franchises. And how did he break that record? By beating Utah. Awesome. Awesome, though. I mean, to be fair to everybody else, not everybody else has had that opportunity. Not everybody has played against 33 different franchises. A lot of really good guys have played in the same place their whole career. None of that is to take anything away from his accomplishment, but a lot of guys just haven't had that opportunity. But for him to not only have the longevity, to have been moved around a couple of different places, to have the chance, but then to be good enough to actually make sure that you get those wins when you have the opportunity. I think that's just an awesome goal to be able to be like the one guy who has done it against everybody.
Yeah. Well, what's funny too is you'd have to have beaten a team you've been on while on another team to do it too. And
exactly. Yeah.
This is only his third team. He played with St. Louis for a number of years, Montreal for a few years, and now he's on the New Jersey Devils.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's a funny stat. It's not like oh wow, that's the biggest accomplishment, but to have a win against every team, you have a win against every team, and that also includes teams that don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Like how long has he been around?
He started his first season was 2012, and he only played 15 games then, and then he started getting to be the starter in St. Louis, but then that kind of dipped down. He went to Montreal and had a stint almost becoming the starter, kind of just having split games, and now with New Jersey he's the backup. I mean, they have Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah, yeah,
but still.
And that adds to it, too. The fact that he's not even the starter, and he's able to still beat every other team.
Yeah. Well,
that's pretty crazy.
That shows some insane consistency.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
don't know that we're going to see it ever again.
Well,
I think that's one of those. I mean, could it happen? Of course it could, but that takes so many variables to line up. I think that might be one of the most unbeatable records the NHL has right now.
I, I especially as we have a more consistent outlook to what cities have teams in the league, and that's unlikely to switch up or be modified much for the foreseeable future. Yeah, I totally agree. And everyone has their teams that they're really good against and really bad against. So there's always going to be that that one team where you don't, especially in another conference where you only get to play them max 2 times a year.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't realize this last one though.
Yeah, so Colorado fans, plug your ears, mute the stream if you don't want to hear something. But yeah, Jeff, what did Colorado set a new record for this year?
According to Kynan's notes, Colorado allows 20 goals against in the first 3 games, breaking the 1984-85 Quebec Nordiques record of 18 in the first 3 games. Colorado apparently has been historically awful. And I'm just going to pretend that I wasn't early in the season, before the season, saying, "Oh, I think Georgiev is a little underrated. I think he's a good goalie." I'm going to pretend I didn't say any of that.
Now, to be fair, Colorado's been having some roster issues in terms of health and you can't always blame the goal when it's that bad. No. It's not just the goalie.
Well, it's not just the goalie, but it's also not just the defense.
Yeah, it's everybody. It's the forwards. Yeah. It's the defense. It's the goalie. Like everyone contributes when it's that bad. Yeah.
It's just hard for me to believe a team with that much talent is struggling this bad, though. Yeah. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
Well, and the wild thing is that we still expect them to make the playoffs. That's the craziest part.
Yeah.
Because, Colorado, they're 1-4. They did get their first win the last night. Yep. But
congrats, Avs fans.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah. Well, how do you even begin to address that glaring of an issue? Like, if you've got a particular problem, okay, you work on it at practice, but you're not setting the record for most goals against to start the season unless this is just an entire team issue. You can't just get rid of everybody. What do you even do to start tackling this,
Well, you just simplify. You got to simplify the game. You just got to make things as simple as you possibly can and try and move forward from there.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes you're trying to do too much.
Fire your coach.
Yeah, Jared Bednar, Stanley Cup winning. Pretty sure. I feel like he's won a Jack Adams Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
That wouldn't shock me.
That's the solution to everything. It worked for Edmonton.
Yeah, it works for so many people. But that kind of leads into this very interesting kind of records. This is more a history sort of thing. But teams, I saw this post where it's the results of teams' likelihood of making the playoffs based off of how many points they have, how many wins and overtime losses they have through X number of games since 2005. So we're about 4 to 5 games here into the regular season, so that's going to be the most relevant here. But let me paint a picture here. So if through 4 games you're 0-4, only out of 8 teams that have started a season 0-4, only 2 since 2005 have made the playoffs. We've had multiple teams. We've had Colorado and Nashville both start 0-4.
And I still believe both of them are playoff teams.
And both of that's the craziest thing is they still both are totally expected to make the playoffs. We totally expect them to turn things around. Yeah. But that's wild. And when you think about it, you kind of have to look at it where, okay, who are these teams that are often starting 0-4 or worse? once you get into 5 games. It's the bottom feeder teams. It's the worst teams in the league. And so, yeah, they're never going to go and make the playoffs. The times where it's those teams that do make the playoffs are the ones like Colorado, like Nashville, where they're great teams. They're just having a really unlucky start.
Exactly right. Yeah.
However, and I don't want to raise too many alarms here, but this is where it gets dangerous. After 5 games, if you are 0-5 or 0-4-1, so you have 4 losses and 1 overtime loss, there have been 4 teams since 2005 that have started the season 0-5. None of them have made the playoffs. And there have been 9 teams that have started 0-4-1, and none of them have made the playoffs. So Colorado got their win in their 5th game, so they're, you know what?
Yep.
They're there.
They're safe.
If Nashville doesn't win today, if they do not win today, history shows they will not make the playoffs.
That's just wild.
So it's not that they have to lose in overtime. They have to win. Otherwise, they have to make history.
And even at that, if they win 2 standings points through 5 games, that's still under a 25% chance.
Yeah. 9 out of 37 teams.
That ain't looking too good.
No. I don't know what's more crazy, though. That or the fact that there has been a team since 2005 that has started 5-0
and not made the playoffs.
And I know exactly what team that is, actually.
Yeah, who is that?
That would be the Edmonton Oilers during the Decade of Darkness.
Whoa.
We had a season where we started 5-0, and we were pumped. We're like, this is the year. We're breaking the curse. It's time. Yeah. I don't remember the exact year it happened, so don't ask me. We don't need to
Yep.
worry about that. But yeah, that's our records for this week.
Yeah. Shout out to Corey. I think he's watching today. I feel for you. The Decade of Darkness was rough. And sorry for that reminder. Anyway.
Love it.
Have you finished watching Inside the NHL on Amazon Prime yet?
So I've watched episodes 5 and 6, the Edmonton, Florida finals episodes, and I have like 4 minutes left on the first episode of Nylander and Pasta.
So you didn't just start with episode 1?
No, I knew I wasn't going to be able to watch all of them by the time we talked about it, so I wanted to watch the 2 that were most relevant to me, the most interesting that I wanted to see. Fair. So I have some thoughts on it. I like it, but I want to hear your thoughts first. Sure.
So I started watching it, and I finished up, what is today, Saturday? So I finished up Thursday night, I think it is. And I think the most impressive part to me is, I mean, we've seen documentaries, we've seen different things before where we follow celebrities or athletes or musicians into their daily life. I don't know, I'm willing to admit maybe it's just personal bias, but there's something about this series that really humanized the players for me. It really made it so I didn't just see them as, hey, these are hockey players, they're just some machine, they have a job, go out, dance, monkey boy dance. They've got families, they've got kids, and we really got to see that behind the scenes look into that. Which kind of leads into the next big thought that I had, talking about the injuries and the hits in the league. I don't want this to be misconstrued. I know this is going to be very easy for people to do so. I'm not calling for the game to change. I'm not calling for violence to drop. I'm not calling for no hits allowed. But the amount of these guys, and again, we say it, we hear it, it's all, yeah, we're tough hockey fans. But think about it. When we keep saying things like injuries are just part of the game, everybody's playing hurt. How many people are going out into the playoffs with a broken this or a torn that, and they're playing through that? Major props to them for being tough, for really wanting to be there for their guys. But that is not a sustainable thing. And especially how many times throughout this series are we hearing, hey, it's not all about hockey anymore. I have a son that I have to take care of. I have a wife that I have to take care of. There's more to life than hockey. I hope a lot of these guys are starting to realize that before it's too late. We see it in football, especially in the NFL, with with CTE being as bad as it is. There's something to be said. Go out there and lay it all out on the field. I don't know. Maybe there's some way we can develop a new type of pads that they can use to take some more of the impact out, or I don't know what it is. But just with the humanization of these guys, I started to feel bad saying I'm enjoying and I'm paying money to force these guys to go out on the ice, kill themselves, puncture a lung, break a rib, and then just, well, you're not allowed to sit down and rest, keep playing. So
Sure.
it really got me thinking about that. And again, maybe I'm just becoming a sap in my old age, but I'm really starting to put people above everything else. And as fun as it is, again, I'm not saying we need to take hitting out of hockey. I don't want that. That's part of the game and it needs to stay part of the game. But I don't know. Maybe there's a way that we can protect these guys a little bit more. You see, I mean, Sean Durzee's injury we talked about earlier, that's a perfect example of that. That's 4 to 5 months of this dude's career from that simple of a hit, and who knows what the actual issue is. That could be a life-altering or a life-threatening injury that 20 years down the road from now, he's still going to be irritated by that. And now he can't go play catch in the front yard with his kid. That's a major deal.
It is. I mean, the things that they do, I think, because you're totally right. We got to take care of the players, and they've done a lot of things to help. I know there's lots of little things like the boards have over time been made to be more flexible, have more bend, the type of glass that's used, the boards, and just that way when someone's hit, the boards are able to absorb more of the force, and so it's less painful. There are things like what was it last year when Evander Kane's wrist got cut by Maroon's skate blade. After that, they began to start to implement more things like wrist guards for players and make that more of a priority. There have been things like no one's allowed to not wear a visor anymore. You have things that say during even warm-ups, they've grandfathered in a rule where you have to be wearing a helmet during warm-ups. The only players exempt are players that came into the league before that rule was implemented. Yeah. So they are finding little things like that because, these are real people. And this is what this show really helps us see is the humanity of them. Yeah. But something in the parts of the show that I've seen also is, and what I really like about this show is these are the people. Yeah, they're normal people like us, but at the same time, they are where they are because of their commitment to winning. It's not about themselves. It's not even about their team per se. It is about the team, but it's about my life, my worth in my career, my life, and my objective is to win. Yeah. And I am willing to sacrifice everything. This is war. This is our modern day war. We don't have the same kind of wars and battles to prove yourself and to show the type of human you are. Yeah. This is our modern day combat. And they're willing to put everything on the line because they'd rather live with an injury than live with the cowardice that comes from giving up. And that's why they're in this is why they're at the top level. This is why they're the most elite athletes in the game. Yeah. Because of that. And we have all sorts of we got to see a bunch of the medical personnel and the treatments and the routines and the nutrition and everything that help do this. And that's why you have people like Sidney Crosby who are in their 20th season and look like they're at no risk of slowing down or about to retire. But it's we still got to keep looking for ways to improve safety and improve injury prevention so that things like the Sean Durzi thing hopefully can never happen.
And by no means am I saying the league isn't doing enough or they haven't done enough or anything like that. I'm not saying that this is some crisis that needs to be solved, but again, I think it's just me as I get older, I'm starting to understand what's really important in life. I think I think we're at that point where it's good, and again, I would not take it away from the players. Leave it all out there. They want to give everything that they have. They want to be successful. They want to win, and they're willing to put up with that. I fully applaud them for that. I'm not saying we take that away from them, but at the same time, I just want to make sure that if they're willing to be reckless and put it all out there for us as fans to entertain us, the least we can do is make sure that they're as safe as possible while they're putting it all out there. Just because they're willing to risk and play through injury doesn't mean they should have to have injuries. And I just, again, I'm not saying that anything necessarily needs to change. It's just a lot of the, I was thinking a lot about that, seeing some of some of the families in this show.
Mm-hmm. Well, and in episode 1, Pasta even kind of brings that up, where he's like, last year was his first season with having a kid. With his daughter, and he said, yeah, that I really grew up a lot after she was born, where I go, oh, hey, like this is different. I'm a father now. And he even, I remember him saying, yeah, I used my game days, I used to just sleep a bit more, sleep in later, but now it's more I just spend time with her, spend time with his wife and daughter. And I thought that was really neat to see the evolution of, as real life things become more significant, it changes the way you approach the game.
Yeah. And to remember too, it is dumb as it is. We have footage of it'll show these players, they're at home, they're eating lunch, they're hanging out with their kid, they get in the car, they drive to work. They have a different job than you have. They have a different job than I have, but at the end of the day, they're going to work. It's just a job. And I think, at least for me, I'm guilty of, I lose that perspective sometimes, where you almost view them as like they're this big celebrity and they're on 24/7 and that's who they are. That's not who they are. They are not hockey players. That's what they do for work. They're humans. They are people.
Yeah.
So I think it's very well done.
I do too. I think, and for those who haven't watched it yet, there are two things I'll point out. One, they do not censor language.
No, not at all.
Athletes swear. Athletes swear, and they do not bleep it out. So if you're, make sure, take that as you will, as the content warning. But after that, it's great for both the casual fan who doesn't know a lot and for the veteran, the person who listens to post-game shows on the radio after their team wins or loses. And because it's got something for everyone. It introduces you to the player, the process, but it also gives interesting insights to the thoughts and the feelings going on in the game, which I think is interesting to everyone.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm soapboxing a lot here, so I'll try to keep this one a little bit short. But the last thought here, I noticed that you added a note to it. Apparently Connor McDavid is afraid of ketchup. He has a ketchup phobia.
Yeah.
You'll learn about that if you watch it. But for the last month or so, when we started seeing the commercials and then this got released, again, it's been out for a couple weeks. I just finished it up this week, so I'm a little bit behind. But the memes that we've been seeing making fun of Connor McDavid, he's in the locker room screaming at the team, this isn't good enough. We need to dig in.
Bleep in.
Exactly.
Right bleeping now.
And then at the end, after they lose the finals, where he's sitting in the locker room crying. The amount of hatred that I've been seeing thrown towards him for that doesn't make any sense to me. And quite frankly, it pisses me off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We're telling this person, again, going back to that soapbox, we're telling this human being, as a leader, as a captain of a hockey team, your job is to be tough. Your job is to lead these men into battle. Your job is to be the guy that takes care of some of these issues. When things happen, you're the one that needs to take care of it. He does so, and now we're mocking him for it. LOL, look at him screaming and yelling and throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah. How do you think they do it, guys? How do you...
Yeah.
how do you think these captains and these people inspire their team?
Yeah.
What, they sit down like, okay, guys, we have to do better.
Yeah, this isn't a corporate boardroom. These are
No.
tough guys. The adrenaline is pumping. They're down 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals. These guys have worked their entire life to get there, and we're gonna give crap to a captain for saying, "Hey, we need to dig in and do better." And
For
what we're
being a
the
captain?
product, yeah, the product that we're putting out there is unacceptable. And everybody, okay, well, maybe he should be telling himself that. He is telling himself that. Do you think that he's sitting there saying, "I'm perfect, you all suck, and you need to do better"? No. Every one of them, they're showing in the first 3 games was unacceptable. He's part of that. He knows that. And then, how old is Connor McDavid? Late 20s, mid 20s. He's worked his
He's
entire life.
27.
I think they said it was 5 years old when he started skating and started playing hockey. 22 years out of your 27 years on Earth, all you know is hockey. He's been in the media since he was 11 years old, 12 years old. He's had eyes on him. He literally all he knows is hockey. All he's worked for ever since he was a child was to get to the top level and win the Stanley Cup.
This is what
And
he's been bred to do, essentially.
yes, yes. And to show emotion when he doesn't reach his goal for his entire life.
Yep.
If you are making fun of him or any player for that, you have the problem. There is something wrong in your head and something wrong in your heart. And I'm going to go out there and say, and this isn't me defending McDavid. This is me defending everybody. Yes, we've seen players in different sports that are over emotional, that they throw temper tantrums. I'm not saying that those people don't deserve to be mocked. They absolutely do. But a private moment in a locker room after he's worked his entire life and got that close to hoisting the cup. They lost by 1 goal. It literally cannot possibly get any closer than that. And for him to be upset about that, there's nothing wrong with that. Why are we crapping all over him? I don't understand the hate. I know it's the internet. I know that I'm trying to tell the internet to have morals and have standards. I understand the irony in that. Please keep using it as a meme if you're memeing. It's fine. Let's make jokes about things. But the amount of actual hate that I'm seeing and the amount of, he's a crybaby, why don't you go cry about it more? Oh, look, the Oilers hadn't won a game and McDavid's only scored 1 goal. Dig in a little bit. Why are we mocking this guy for being the leader that we paid him to be? Knowing that if he didn't do that, everybody would be on his case saying, how come you didn't do enough? How come you didn't yell at the guys? How come you didn't get on them? He's in a position where he can't win. And I don't know. I think if your head comes off the pillow in the morning looking for some reason to be upset with somebody over something else they did, you've got an issue and you need to check yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to put it at that. Hopefully I didn't go on too long.
That was a good TED Talk. I appreciated that. I will. Yeah. And that's what was so shocking about this whole series is how much the players were willing to allow to get out, because they knew that was the risk of letting people mock them for it, of exposing themselves like that. That's not an easy thing to be willing to do. I don't know if I'd be comfortable with that in my most vulnerable moments. That's tough to want to let to do and to give the go ahead, because from what I remember hearing is what was shown was approved by the players who were featured. It was like, yep, you can show that. Yeah. That's bold. That's, way to let yourself be vulnerable. And
so if anything, we should be giving him credit.
Yeah. Your video died to kind of ruin the moment. Your camera's dead. I don't know.
I'm still showing I'm on.
Let me try and redo this here. Pause for a moment, guys, and then I'll bring up my one more moment. Can you just try turning your camera on and off again for me? Can I even hear you? All right, so we're having a technical difficulty. Jeff is completely dropped from the call. We can't even hear him. Jeff, are you there? All right. It appears that we've lost Jeff. So welcome, everybody, to the Extra Attacker podcast, starring me and only me. Well, we'll see. We'll see if we can get him. I can't even hear you, dude. I can't even. Oh, wait.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear him. He's back. Okay. We're going to sort of. Yeah, we're going to just, we'll I don't know. Well, what?
For the past couple of weeks here, I have had random bloody noses out of nowhere.
Oh.
And one just decided to start, and it's flowing real good. So we're gonna keep the camera off.
So at the same time, at the same time your camera died, this happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Much. So both your computer and this so everything's falling apart. What's the name of that quarterback that you look like again?
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. Okay, I'm just gonna throw up a picture of Matthew Stafford here in your place.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So we're just going to. All right. Yeah. So we're just
so
going
what's
to.
even my camera? There's something wrong with the internet connection on my computer. Like it shows that I'm connected, but I can't even get back into the call. So we're on our phone right now.
Okay.
But as long as you can hear me, we can wrap up.
Yeah. So
we'll just segment.
That'll be good. Okay. So there we go.
There we go.
That's you. Hey, you gotta adapt on the fly, everybody. You gotta adapt on the fly. Sometimes things happen. Okay. Well, we'll finish off with our Saturday game predictions. Jeff, last week you narrowly edged me out. You predicted 7 out of 13 correct. I only predicted 5 out of 13 correct. So you start the season 1-0. How do you feel about that?
As I'm keeping track throughout the day, I've got a whiteboard sitting here on my desk, and I had them all written down there, and the amount of red X's just over and over and over and over. I thought there's no way, and somehow I came out above 500. I picked a couple of the upsets.
You did. I was most impressed by that.
Yeah, one in particular I was proud of. Columbus. I picked the Blue Jackets to beat the Avs. In hindsight, well, yeah, the Avs just finally won a game, but at the time, there's no freaking way. I got it. So just call me a prophet or something, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Nostradamus. I'm gonna call you Nostradamus because that's
Jeff Stradamus.
Jeff Stradamus.
There you go.
Nostra Hail.
Ooh, I like it.
So our first game for this week. So this week we got, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games again. So 26 teams in action tonight. And our first one, Tampa Bay, Ottawa. We're starting off contradictory.
We are. I think Tampa takes it.
I got Ottawa. I think Tampa is going to finally get their first loss of the season. I think Ottawa's going to be rolling. It's got to happen at some point, and I think Tampa's going to fall.
I mean, it's not a bad prediction.
Yeah.
Detroit, Nashville. Looks like we both think Nashville's going to break their losing streak here.
I mean, they have to. It's like we said with the statistics. If Nashville is to lose today, historically, they will not make the playoffs. So if they're a playoff team, they're going to win today. There's just no way around it.
True. They have to. And they're at home, so that helps.
Yeah.
Having been to a game there, I mean, that crowd goes wild. So that they will will them to a victory tonight.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Edmonton, Dallas.
Yeah. I mean, I always gotta pick Edmonton. I think I'm never going to not pick them when they have a Saturday game.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, unless it's like end of the season, they're sitting all their top end talent to save them for
Sure.
playoffs, then maybe. But
Sure.
I think we're starting to click. I saw a lot of the things that we've been missing in the game against Philly this Thursday. So I'm confident that we can beat Dallas give Dallas their second loss in a row.
Yep. I honestly, I had to think about this one. This was one of the harder ones that I had to choose today. I think it's a toss-up. Both teams absolutely have the potential. They both could take it. The only reason I'm giving Dallas a slight edge, again, they're just at home.
Sure. This is Edmonton's second away game, and so I think they'll be fine. Here's the thing. Under Chris Knobloch, their current head coach, they've never lost more than 3 games in a row, and after losing 3 games in a row, they've never done worse than a 3-game winning streak following it. So we went on a 3-game losing streak, and now we've won 2. So this is number 3. So after winning today, then we're on pace to lose at any point. However, historically, we're just going to win today. So that's my thing.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll be honest. I did forget about that stat.
Well, it's an easy one to forget. It's an easy one to forget
Yeah.
if you're not a local kid. All right, Vegas, Florida. Even though Vegas is my second team, I just had to pick Florida despite you.
Yeah, and I knew you would. I don't know. I think Vegas is due. I mean, yes, obviously I want Florida to lose. I hate Florida, but like I think they've been underperforming. I think they just need to put everything together here. But I'm going to take Vegas today.
And that's, you know what, I respect that. Normally I'd want to pick Vegas as well. Normally I would as well. But,
Yeah. I do like, though, that so far we only have one that we've picked together. So it's going to be interesting statistically this week, especially going into this next one. New York and Toronto.
Yeah. When I went into this and was looking at your picks that you'd already written down, there was a part of me that just wanted to pick the exact opposite of you for each matchup, just because. But then I felt like that was a little bit of you deciding too much for me what my outcome would be, and so I didn't want to do that. I do genuinely think Toronto is going to win. I think the Rangers have been flying high, flying hot. They've been scoring at will, but you got to cool down at some point, and I think Toronto's also been playing very well, and a bunch of their stars have been having slower starts, so I think they're going to start to be ramping up, so I think this one goes to Toronto.
And that's all fair. I think for that exact reason is why I'm taking New York. They're scoring at will. They're having their way with everybody at this point. They're going to cool down. I don't think it's yet. I think they got a few more in them. And it's just a really, really hard team to bet against.
Always, yeah. Absolutely. I agree.
So, Washington, New Jersey. Is there anybody that thinks the Caps are going to win?
I mean, they gave Dallas their first loss, so
Yeah.
anything's possible.
Yeah, any given night, I guess.
Yeah. So I think New Jersey. I was skeptical of the New Jersey hype to start the season, but so far they're living up to expectations. They're 5-2, so that's impressive.
Yeah, they are looking really good. Definitely looking better hype than Nashville's hype.
Yeah. And then Montreal, New York Islanders. I haven't been following either team much. I just wanted to take the Islanders.
That's fair. See, the Islanders, they're such an underperforming team. They're very weak, in my opinion. Montreal, I don't think they're a ton better, but I'm giving them the win just because I think the Islanders' bad is going to outweigh everything. But Montembeault has been looking very, very good to start the year.
Yeah.
As much as being a Boston fan, I hate admitting it.
You know what? That's true. I can't the Montembeau, that I have followed a little bit, and he's been on fire.
Yeah. I hate saying anything good about the Habs, but sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
Vancouver, Philly. This is an interesting one to me. You're taking Philly.
Yeah, man. I was impressed with Philly's game on Thursday. Philly's always a feisty team, and I think their struggle on Thursday was just running into a desperate Oilers team. Vancouver is desperate, but they're in Philly, so it's again they're kind of pissed from having to lose to Edmonton the way they did, because I mean Philly at one point was up 2-0. They blew it. They blew it. Right?
Yeah. I mean that's
wait,
good. Yeah.
Wait, no, Philly was Tuesday. No, what am I saying? Yeah, Philly was Tuesday. I'm forgetting, with all this hockey talk, I'm forgetting even my own Oilers schedule. Hold on. Before everyone starts yelling at me for messing things up. Yeah, so Nashville was Thursday, Philly was Tuesday. Yeah, so Philly,
Yeah.
I mean, they've probably played a game since, but, Western team, Canadian team.
Yeah.
I just wanted to take Philly. And just to stick it to Vancouver.
Yeah. I don't even have that much to go into on this. I just think Vancouver's a better team. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, yeah, no one's
Philly,
no one's going to dispute
they are
that.
having some high spots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Philly is having some high spots this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Minnesota, Columbus, I think that's an easy one too.
Yeah. Minnesota. And then Carolina, St. Louis.
Hurricanes versus Blue.
Yeah. You've got Carolina. I got St. Louis.
I do.
St. Louis.
Yeah, I don't believe in St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean, they're having a good start to the season. They're 3-2. That's respectable. I think it'll be a bit of a coin flip matchup, personally. But I guess we'll see. We'll see what the scoreline is.
Yeah. I feel like that'll be at least a close one. This next one is going to be close as to who sucks less.
Speaking of a coin flip, Buffalo, Chicago.
Yeah. I took Buffalo, and I'll be honest, like 90% of the reason was because sometimes I just have to take one that I think is going to be weird. Because if I pick the obvious one every week, then you're going to miss out on the upsets. And if we just agree and take the obvious one every week, then I'm not going to be able to beat you if we don't do anything different.
Yeah, well, we're mostly different this week.
Which blew me away.
Yeah. This one, again, it's a coin flip. It's a battle of the bottom feeders. But Chicago has had a better start. Chicago's been overperforming, and Buffalo's been underperforming.
Yep.
So you're following what should happen, and I'm following current trends.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Like, should Buffalo beat Chicago? Yes. Will they?
Let's jump down to Calgary, Seattle here. Then we'll come back up for that last one. We both took Seattle. The only reason that I want to see him lose, but I think for me it's 2 or 3 game winning streak. Okay, fine. Once you start getting into the 4, 5, 6 game winning streak range, you're starting to feel a new kind of pressure, and at some point that pressure is going to get to the Flames. It could be today. I mean, of all days, Seattle's not a strong team. So I feel like we definitely could be wrong on this one. I don't think we go into next Saturday without Calgary having lost. So at this point, I'm picking them for today just because you got to pick somebody.
Yeah. And then our final game of the night, one you get to go to, actually. How pumped are you?
I am losing it. I never thought I'd be able to see a Bruins game, let alone see a Bruins game here in Utah. And then especially going into this season with how expensive tickets were. I was playing volleyball at like 9:30 on Thursday night, and somebody texted me and said, "Hey, I just found some cheap tickets." Now, I hadn't looked for like 2 days, but usually I like to just keep checking StubHub. Tickets were down to $42 for some of these seats. Now fees obviously screwed that good price up. But yes, I will be there to see Boston and Utah play. I'm very, very excited. I get to see a Bruins game in person, but I'm taking Utah to win it. I think they're so solid right now. We're at home. Boston, I mean, we're always going to be a strong team, but we are not playing up to the potential at all. And this is a big West Coast trip. I don't think we can put it together tonight as Boston. But as y'all saw before my camera died, I am wearing my Boston gear to the game tonight. So
Wow.
funny how that works. I'm going to wear my Boston gear while trying to promote a Utah hockey fan page. Go figure.
If you have like a Utah hat, at least maybe wear that. I don't know.
I'm debating it. I'm debating it.
See, what I do when I have a situation like that is I'll wear my Oilers jersey, but if I have a T-shirt or something of the other team, I'll wear that underneath just so that I know I have both teams in my heart, but people only see my preferred team, and no one knows that I have some love for the other team as well.
Maybe I do that. I'll maybe I wear my spicy tuna T-shirt that I made under.
Oh yeah, you have to do that. Yeah, you have to do that at the very least. Yeah.
Speaking of spicy tuna shirts, available. Link in my bio on Facebook. Go get merch.
Yeah, guys, go check out Jeff's other channel. It's in the description. Utah Hockey Live. It's a Utah based, following all things for the Utah Hockey Club. So go check that out. But yeah, that wraps up. That's what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm picking Boston just because to stick it to you again. I never realized I could stick it to you by picking Boston to win, but we live in that world now.
I just want you to remember though, the first time a couple of years ago when I went to Vegas and actually gambled and put some money on sports betting, it was a Saturday. I had that 12 or 13 leg parlay going, and I picked the winners of every game. And I hit all but 2 of them.
Yep.
And who were those 2?
Edmonton and Boston.
I just cannot bet on Boston or Edmonton to win me anything. That was $16,000 that I was going to win on that bet.
On like a $20 bet?
On like a $20 bet.
Yeah. It's just wild.
And I got all the underdogs right. I got everything. Except Boston lost to the Senators in the first week of that season. And that was the season that we set the all-time points in wins record, too.
Yeah.
So of all games, they could have lost.
You had the most wins of anyone in NHL history and the best record. Yeah.
Yep.
Best overall record.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
But anyway,
what are you gonna
don't
do?
gamble, kids.
Nope. Do not. Sports betting is so rigged. It's not even funny.
I'm just waiting until we get our DraftKings sponsorship.
No. I promise you, we will never be sponsored by DraftKings. I vow. No. I vow it. I give you my oath. All right. Well, thank you for everybody for tuning in. Jeff, do you have any final closing words before we close out?
No. I mean, get out there. Just make sure you watch some hockey. We have 13 games today, a whole week till next Saturday. Just get the word out. Bring some of your friends next week. Let's have a party and get watching some hockey this week.
Heck yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.